Coastline. And what a way to fight for relegations. If you're Secret, you go there, you're starting off on the defense with Rogue on the attack. Jess, your thoughts?
It's a mixed bag for both of these teams, the results they've had on it. But when it comes to maps like Chalet and Coastline, I hate going to previous results unless it's overwhelmingly bad or overwhelmingly good, because this map is just full of surprises. The new changes have made it more defendable, but with Rogue just being the new Rogue it is, Secret are going to struggle against that.
Throughout this stage, both of these teams have played a lot of maps, and their map preferences are really hard to read in that it indicates they've got a 6 or a 7 map pool. Coastline was up there on the higher preference for both teams, so I'm not surprised we see it. But when the stakes are this high, to go to such a hit or miss 50-50 map.
What did you predict?
I had Coastline or Chalet.
Okay, so you picked one of the two maps I think are the most chaotic and give the best chance
because
for a team
it's
who
kind
probably
of the 1 and 2 preference for both teams. Both teams love both of those maps, so I thought we would go there.
Even with your prediction, before we go, who do you think's going to win based off now you know it's Coastline?
Rogue.
Yeah, I also think Rogue. Well, just based off their recent attacks and the decision-making, I do think
good at it.
Rogue should have beaten G2 there.
I agree.
But for a couple of failed rushes, bad 1v2s, etc.
Yep.
So let's see how it'll go. It's fresh, Jess. Thank you very much. But we're going to go to Coastline. It's sunny Ibiza. I know it'll be a bit of a change in pace as things are getting quite cloudy and quite cold here. So we're going to toss it over to our casters. It's Ace and it's Dez, and it's their favorite map. Enjoy.
I feel like I'm being forced to enjoy Coastline more and more, as I feel like it's been probably 3 of our last 5 maps or so.
Well, you messaged me earlier, Des, and you said, we've got Coastline, and I said, Des. I said, Des, just you remember that G2 game that we had on the last play day, and oh boy, what a lot of fun that was, and it was Rogue involved in it as well. So I've got every confidence, Des, that this is going to be every bit as exciting. Rogue versus Team Secret, and Rogue fighting for their lives, quite literally, inside of the EUL in this one, Des. Any win will do them and will guarantee them safe.
This is like where, if you're heroic, you're sat here watching, evaluating, nervous as anything, because you know that realistically at this point, your chances of survival are out of your hands, as mentioned on the desk. Secret need a strong result today to guarantee that it is heroic done and dusted. But between these two teams, it is that battle for 9th place here. Whoever loses finds themselves pulled much closer to it. And if you're Secret, Rogue may just move a little too far away in the overall standings, despite, as you can see in the top right corner of your screen, Rogue currently be in a spot to get to the major, and Secret really yet to pick themselves up off the bottom of the table. First 2 bans have flown through, though. A Secret banning away Nomad as their first ban to come out, and Thatcher, the old stock standard ban, it feels like, coming out for Rogue, quickly followed up by their defensive ban of Valkyrie. It's again bread and butter, those two just go so well together.
It is Team Secret coming in. We've seen Secret play Coastline twice, and we have seen a funky ban from them, Des. We've seen a Warden previously. I don't know if we'll get that one coming out again today. Possibly not. Maybe the Mirror instead, or going to be Mozzie, another one that you could maybe describe as a little bit funky, one that we don't see too often, the Mozzie ban. As you say, Mozzie particularly powerful, able to basically get a pest on each stairway and stop a lot of drones getting into that top floor.
It's just how strong he is as a roamer at the minute as well. You know, the Roni, we've all seen the nerfs coming through to that, the fact that you got the pest, you got the C4, just a stupidly popular roamer for a lot of what would be entries on the attack inside of maps at the moment, so not too surprised to see it taken away. Did wonder if we keep on seeing mute bans being a thing over something like the Mozzie, so glad to see it's gone away. And I was really quietly excited behind the science scenes of the last game, Ace. So I've been banging about Twitch now for a few weeks, and how strong I think she is with the 3 drones, the considerably jacked up, like, drones got a new 2021 update coming out, which makes them really fearful. And then she actually drew a ban. I was like, that's about time that she does see a little bit of action in the banning phase. However, in this game, as you've mentioned, it is going to be that Nomad and the Mozzie from Team Secret. Quite specific. We're keen to see what their play is going to be around that. We start out in hookah and billiards. Nothing else really worth shouting home about. We are in this day and age now where I think at the start of the stage you'd see Iana or Finka, but now more and more teams are saying, you know what? 4 nades, 2 gone 6s, 2 really good gadgets. We'll bring them both. Why not?
Twitch, as you say, particularly an interesting operator to pick up on. She's certainly seen an increase in pick rate. She's up to, I like to calculate, as you know, Des, picked when available.
Presence.
Presence takes into account bans, but it I think overinflates a little bit. I look at picked when available, so literally when a player has the opportunity to click on that operator, how many rounds have they done it? How often have they done it? When the choice is there for them. 27.5% coming in for Twitch. I will get some previous figures, but I would estimate that she's usually down at 5 to 10% between stage 1 and 2, so quite a significant increase, as you say, coming along with that significant buff to the drones. So we're going to have some quick progress onto the underneath here. Rogue coming in on the attack. They are attacking Hooker and Billiards, but initially they're going to look to clear out underneath. You always got to be careful of the vertical denial. Out comes a nade there, not going to find any success, but Keenan needs to just watch himself behind that bar.
I think they did destroy a gadget or two along the way because you heard the kind of zap of the electrics, as I believe it may have been ADSs upstairs that potentially got cleared out. Keena's still hovering off on the downstairs, and you were right about the pressure because now it's starting to amp up. It's crying onto 7 to get things started out. Leon swinging in for a second just a few seconds later. And inside 2 seconds? No, inside 60 seconds, 2 are dead.
4 versus 3, 4 versus 2 as Ace has managed to find himself a nice nade kill onto Kendrew there. Rogue taking a commanding stance to this opening round. And it's something that we did see against G2. If you remember, in their first attack, it was actually a bit of a rush onto the Hooker and Billiards side. It's been a little bit calmer this time, but nonetheless, they are still getting the kills. Out goes Pack Bull, cannot find himself a second, gets sat down by Aces, and it's going to probably all be for nothing. Is that explosive jump out as Gomfy now finds himself 1 versus 3 using one of those corner salvation stations to get himself juice back up and into the fight. Looks to take the challenge onto the double window there, but is not going to be able to find his man, who just dips, ducks, dives and keeps himself out of sight.
Nothing really to worry about here, I think, on the side of Rogue, knowing you've got so much time to play with. You can choose to get back on your drones and take your time here, but they're taking gunfights. Gomfy does collect the triple in the round, but shut down on a great trade coming from the window. Good first round from Rogue, all fueled by those first 2 kills that they found downstairs in Sunrise and Blue.
I think Team Secret might have a little bit of trouble here today. I know we're only 1 round in, but I feel like, as Fresh said on the desk, Rogue were close to the win against G2 on this map, and I feel like coming back with a couple of tweaks, a little bit of information, knowledge, experience gained from that G2 game, they could be a really threatening presence here in Ibiza, in the La Perla Blanca resort of Coastline.
Are you selling a club to me or a game of Rainbow Six?
I'm trying to get you in, Des. I'm like one of them street promoters. Trying to get you.
I can imagine you, when all goes wrong in casting, you back out and think, right, I need a job, what can I do?
When?
Ticket seller in Ibiza.
When it all goes wrong, how rude.
I'll drag you down with me in some minute. We're there together saying, come on, quit a shot, come in. It'd be unbelievable. Either way, I agree with you, but also to give some lean towards Secret here. You've seen Rogue play on this map. You've got some information you can gather. You know, so for them, it's also not a bad choice to come here as well, although ultimately those last 2 maps were a choice that Rogue had between Villa and Coast, and they chose to come into Coastline. I do want to reference that G2 game, because you mentioned a couple of rounds that went awry and they ultimately lost out 8-6.
1v2, 1v3.
It was the same story last stage. Think back to on Chalet, round 7 and 8. You know, Aces whiffed an easy headshot onto a planter that would have won them a round, and the second round beyond that, they lost a 1 versus 2 against an Alder. So the scoreline says they've lost to G2 in both of those games. It doesn't tell you just how close they were to beating them, and I guarantee a Citizen in Leon's head, rent-free.
Crying there.
I love how you say the word crying straight after that, as if it just fits the bill perfectly. Beautiful.
Crying just showing off that new long range that the Twitch drone has got, taking out the default cam all the way down the 90 corridor, and already Secret feel a little bit on the back foot here, Des, but Kendrew tries to get something going with the run out on the Legion, doesn't find his man. We've got Gomfy almost on half health there. He's again going to have to think about taking a visit to one of those corner stations to pep himself back up. He doesn't want to be taking these fights too aggressively on that low health. He does have one there. He's just waiting on the cooldown at the moment.
Cooldown.
Cooldown.
That's a new one. Now, I do like how there's a contest coming in from Rips on the Book onto this window early on, because I spoke about last time we were on Coastline how more teams are sticking a defender inside of security. Reason being, you look all the way through lobby, you can see through the triple wall that opens up inside of site. Thank you very much. I believe it's medics in this one, but you can see everything from down in lobby all the way up. It's a medics, indeed it is. You can see all the way up from security in towards site there, so it makes it really hard for the attackers to come in from the service entrance side. So really, as the attackers, you want this clear. Lobby empty, security clear, and they've just achieved that with Cryin having yet another opener, this time onto the triple kill master himself, Gomphy, in the previous round.
Great start for Rogue, but levelled out as Sleben manages to find Rips. Leon, however, just absolutely chugging away with that thinker weaponry and managing to find himself a kill. Prano gets inside his sight, getting that diffuser down, and kills are just dropping one after another here. Des Kendrew taken out by Leon, and all of a sudden Keenan in a 1 versus 4 finds one, but completely impactless. It will be nothing more than a consolation for Team Secret as Rogue come through looking as solid as they did in round 1, take round 2, and starting to find a little bit of breathing space even this early in the game.
I said it a couple of weeks ago, watching Rogue at the minute is really fun. It's, many would look at it. I think if you showed this an NA team or an NA coach, they'd have an aneurysm watching back some of Rogue's games, because the way they play is so fast, it's quite loose, it's aggressive, it's far from the kind of chess game style of play that we see coming out of regions like North America. And I spoke to Leon about this. I asked him, do you think this has got legs in it as a strategy type? Of you guys being quite aggressive, not so much a rank play style, but it's got that kind of feel to it at points. What do you think of that? And he was like, truthfully, if it works for us now and gets us out of the precarious position we're in, where we're facing potentially against relegations again, I have zero complaints. But what I like is it's giving them a solid footing. They're finding a style that makes them happy, that you see the smiles on their faces after each round. It's not like, God, that was really tough and really hard to get through both mentally and physically. They actually managed to make it work for them on a kind of motivation scale as well, and it's shining in the gameplay. So if this is the start of them for something beautiful in future, I'm all for it.
That's it. It doesn't necessarily matter whether in 6 months do Rogue look like they do now. Is the gameplay the same? Is it not? As you've said, if it works right now, the absolute #1 priority, there is no other way around it, Des, for this team is survival. That's the top and bottom, and they are very close to it. A win here will do that for them. They can start looking towards 2022, and if they can do that with some confidence under the belt, maybe even a major appearance, Des, that's going to be something that they wouldn't have thought would happen during stage 2. And so a big part of it is if you can come out here and play with a little bit of fun, a smile on your face, that passion, that confidence, you'd be amazed how many more rounds those teams pick up.
That magic word, passion.
Got to have the passion.
Yeah, you got the passion, they got the passion, we all got the passion. Let's see how the round plays out. You saw the interesting setup coming inside the Hall of Fame, by the way, where there's a shield, a couple of magnets in there, a Banshee set up inside it. They really want to hold this off.
They
ADS
really
is also
are.
committed in. They've really dug in deep into saying, no, you won't have this one. One-shot drone going down. So you can already see the kind of blue glow all across the ceilings and the walls, which will make this rough. However, what you're going to start doing then is tossing in a bunch of nades to clear things out. They've managed to burn their way through. And now finally they have got some kind of gain inside of Hall of Fame itself. However, quite a bit of utility wasted, gone through about a minute or so. It's not world-ending. But, good attempts coming out of Secret at least.
Certainly is. We're going to have the Hibana opening up that VIP wall now, which may force, I was going to say Team Secret back a little bit here, but Kendrew just running up towards the breach almost, looking to make that challenge if anybody wanted to poke their face through. Now, he sees the rappel wire, so you got to be careful. The man on the end of it is currently on drones, but Kendrew's managed to sneak his way back in here, but well aware, Aces steps in with a pre-fire and shuts him down, whilst at exactly the same time, Packbull manages to find a headshot onto Leon, so that's going to be some of those nano boosts gone along with him, and it leaves us in a 4 versus 4 just after the halfway mark. But importantly, Rogue are in control of VIP. And what a headshot from Aces onto Packbull, absolutely deleting him out of this round, and he's just walking through him, Des, like a hot knife through butter.
Tell you what, the man's got one hell of a swing on him. Maybe he should become a golf pro after his finish with Siege. 3 in the round that he's just kind of stepped around a corner, gone for the spray, and won the gunfights. It's ludicrous. So much so that the plant has gone down once again. Crying has been down onto the ground, but not yet taken out. The 1 versus 2 with Rips on incredibly low HP. Slebber's got to do it all, but Prano, this is the problem when you've got a fragger playing in your supportive and IGL position. Have an absolute field day of picking up kills once it's gone down. 3 on a bounce. It's a good half already for Rogue, but they really want to put the pedal to the metal here, accelerate it towards a 5 or 6 round half for them, and leave Secret reeling.
Yeah, that's it now. What I want to see from Rogue here is you got to be clinical, Des. When you've got somebody on the back foot, you got to really push that advantage. I want them absolutely pinning Team Secret down here and just giving them no opportunity, no space to breathe, no way back into this. You know, that's often what we see from teams that are struggling in a league. It's generally that they allow other teams that opportunity. You know, they'll get a few rounds and then they let them come back into it. I don't want to see that from Rogue now. Show us the continuation of that evolution that you're able to lock it down. And we're getting some great footage of Ace's little tour through coastline as he just picked the Team Secret defense apart.
It means again the first one, the one with Kendrew, no support from Penthouse, moves into VIP and gets another one, like inside the theatre because no one's holding 90. Swings 90, gets a third and then finally gets traded out. But you're down 3 men at that point, unfortunately, Secret, and things aren't going to go too much better for you. Don't forget as well, of course, if Rogue walk away the winner here, they do jump over Team Empire, moved into 2nd place after their win in the previous fixture.
If you'd have said that to me in stage 2, you'd have been like, no way.
No.
No way.
No. It just wouldn't have been a thing. But they move up to 15 points, which is only 2 behind BDS. Quite a terrifying prospect.
It's what I love about Siege. It's what I love about it.
I think if BDS get the 3 points later, they are locked in, I want to say.
Yeah, for the major. Yeah, they will be.
That'll be it. There'll be another team qualified in there after SSG made
they're
it
enough
yesterday.
clear.
After
They're enough clear.
Over Dark Zero.
Yeah, they're looking good for it. We're going to have Aces pushing in aggressively once again. VIP wall has been opened up. This time attacking onto Hooker and Village. Just gets himself a nice long line of sight there through onto a man. Makes the challenge but can't find one. Kendrew's going to get spotted out in 90 corridor. Needs to be careful, but it's gone for you. Should have been careful as Aces finds him. Leon straight onto Keenan. Crying onto Kendrew. Team Secret, Des. They are backs to the wall and they are getting absolutely pummeled by Rogue right now.
Aces is the bowling ball. They are the Skittles and they are just falling over one by one. In all these rounds, you've just seen, it feels like, well, we have seen 4 entry kills coming in from the side of Rogue, and then it just turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into 4, and before you know it, the round is done and dusted. It's hard for them to find any kind of win if you can't win a gunfight. It doesn't matter what they've tried to roll out in the last few rounds, and Leon, the great little bit of vision coming in on that drone, should be enough for someone just to yellow ping the hell out of him as he is doing there, and all it's going to take is a gunshot coming in from a push down 90 or a nade. Anything to polish him out, but let's not forget that's one of the 2 last members. This is easy breathing for Rogue at this point, Ace.
You can just see them scrambling now, trying to get onto an angle that will allow them that shot onto Packbull, but he's going to move away before that opportunity presents itself. Sleben locked inside of Aquarium now, challenges onto what he believes to be the Iana, but it will only be the clone coming in, the Gemini drone. Now Leon,
good night.
Aces, flawless, no more needs to be said.
It doesn't really, does it? It's one of those rounds where you could break down each kill if you wanted to, but it just doesn't matter because not a single one came back the way for Secret. Round after round, it's just turning into an absolute bruising and battering for Team Secret. And I do want to take a look, actually, while we've got a bit of time, since, you know, we've got an on-screen slaughter. I ain't got to tell you about how detailed and graphic that's looking right now. Looking at the overall standings, if things stay as they are, Rogue look like they basically move clear. I think
they're safe. If Rogue win, they're safe.
They're done. And then that then leaves the scrap kind of towards the 9th and 10th.
Heroic are loving this right now. Heroic are loving this because they just,
Secret.
they need to just get in. It's going to be a 2-horse race. It's going to be a 2-team fight over who is auto-relegated and who gets to fight to survive.
Heroic are 6 points behind Secret. There are 3 games still to play for both teams, so there is every possibility that if Secret's mental just completely falls to tatters and Heroic do find 2 wins out of seemingly nowhere, they can be in overtime, of course. They could do the leapfrog if they really wanted to.
They could. There's a lot needs to happen there, and the first and foremost of that is 2 heroic wins.
We are getting very excited about Heroic. And how many of us predicted Heroic today?
I was very much on the fence with that game. The G2
what did you go
heroic
for in
game.
the
I
end?
went for G2.
Oh, okay. I think I went G2 as well.
I just feel like heroic have an issue winning games. The best way that I could put it.
The only one who went for
The best way
heroic.
that I've been able to put it through the stages, heroic can win rounds, but they can't win games, and that's been the struggle for them.
What is this? Milos has just what? Okay, then this is magic. He's walked in like flashing off a pizza while we're here stood casting.
Something to look forward to.
What a man. Everyone's out there scoffing pizza and we're just screaming over our own kind of slaughter in this game, it feels like. Let's see, though, how round 5 plays out. And for Rogue, I think you can already guess exactly how things are going. Aces, 4 rounds in, 10 kills to his name. Leon, 5-1, hasn't always had the best time on the entry. But at least in this game, although not picking up the entry kills himself, is definitely starting to stack up the frags. And on the other side, look at their kill count in total. 7 kills across 4 rounds for Secret. That's not a performance of a winner, unfortunately, Ace.
A great little example of the change to the mute jammers there. If you've not seen that in action before, you saw some of the ex-Kairos pellets just muted out, but then the ones up at the top of the wall able to breach through, because of course now it works in a circle sort of radius on that wall, and so the top corners of the wall, the very reaches there, it doesn't quite extend that far, whereas it used to be a cylinder all the way up the wall. So the Hibana able to take advantage of that. The nades follow in, clear it out, and they've got the breach onto the default wall now. In comes the nade, and good night! Aces shuts down Packbull behind the bar. He's not going to be serving up any cocktails for the remainder of this round. 5 versus 4, Pranos in. He's getting the diffuser down, Des. Secret aren't even competitive right now. That's another one where Rogue have been able to just get established inside a site and get that diffuser activated.
Oh, we're killing one person as well. It's all it took, and they had full control of the site from there. Keenan getting pulled back up off the ground to make it a 4v3. But they've got to get all these kills and get the diffuse down in about 20 seconds, Ace. I'm not feeling too optimistic about it. Prano finds one, Sleben another across onto his former teammate, but it's the final 2 flying through for Rogue. And when I say flying, I truly mean soaring towards the sky. They've got 5 rounds on the bounce.
Honestly, there's a bit of me that looks at this thinking G2 must be sat watching thinking, whew, we got away with one last play there.
Yeah. I mean, we look back at that game and everyone knows exactly the kind of player to talk about. 18 kills, I think it was, for Citizen in the end. Apart from saying it's a one-man mission.
It's quite interesting because I looked at that map back today. I did the stats and I had a little watch of it back. And obviously, that was one of the standout elements was Citizen's position at the top there. And he did go big. But it's very important to note that I think it was up until about round 9 or 10, the team were actually very, very even. Citizen then just had a big spurt of kills at the end that took them over the line, and teams need those players who can just step up. Yeah, exactly. Who can step up when it's needed. But it was very, very close through a lot of that game, and then he got a 4K, and it just sort of took him away from the pack.
4 big rounds in there that are chalked up to being 3Ks, 4Ks. That was just like, the man's hitting some naughty shots, but that's what you come to expect these days. Just about the team rallying around that and getting some big results to really, get G2 back on track, but we'll see what the off-season holds for them. Let's see how the final round of the attack goes for Rogue. So far, it has been lights out, knockout, nothing coming back from the side of Team Secret. The gunfight's not able to be won. The strats, irrelevant, it feels like, at many points, because the pace at which Rogue is coming has just been absolutely terrifying.
The best thing sometimes about a 6-0 half is there's always a little bit of excitement in me because there's an opportunity for a reverse sweep.
You're an every cloud kind of guy.
Well, I just look at it and I think
could reverse sweep.
And occasionally we get them, and they are the most exciting things when they happen. I'm not saying that this Team Secret is going to reverse sweep right now. There's going to be something that needs to change, but
stop.
I do. There's still that element.
Stop.
I can't. I can't, Des.
Just ingrained into you at this point.
Excitement and entertainment is just ingrained into my life force. Now, Kendrew, he's got himself inside of office at the minute. It's going to be a kitchen defence for the final time for Team Secret here before they move on to the attack. The problem is, especially over this side of the map, there's Blue Bar, Sunrise. Rogue have been able to pick this apart so far. Now then, getting aggressive, no. Cryan does exactly that. Finds the kill onto the man in office, and that's going to start to squeeze Blue Bar. It's going to start to squeeze Sunrise and apply pressure to that side of the map. Aces, Leon getting their kills. Keenan, Gomfy managed to find 2 back. 3 versus 2, and we're barely halfway through the round, Des. This has gone at breakneck speed the entire game so far.
That's been the story of it, it feels like. However, Secret have found those 3 kills, make it 4. Keenan coming up big with a 3K in the round. Means that Crying, 7-2 on the Twitch, has got to land them all, but it's a 4K for Keenan. It happens from time to time. A big round coming out for him. It is something, Ace, and I know exactly what you'll say. Oh, well, they can maybe do it now. They've got 1, they can get more.
Momentum.
Yeah, sure, but it's 1 player with a 4K.
No, in reality, there's a long way to go.
A man of reason finally joins me on the desk.
There is a long way to go for Team Secret. They've got themselves a couple of kills in the mid-round there. They've kept themselves in the fight, but they have got a lot of momentum to try to stop from this Team Rogue side. That 1 round is not going to impact on them too much. And getting them on the defence now, I'm just sort of concerned for exactly what they're going to do in terms of the roam. You've got Aces, who we've seen have some confident games so far this stage, where he just proves a nightmare on the roam, and it could well be the same again now.
What was it you were saying about Secret? Their best attacking win rate is on this site?
Best attacking win rate? On this side. I've got to be clear about the sample size.
What is the sample
It's 1 round. 100% win rate on Penthouse Theatre. It's the best they've got, Des.
Look, you know how...
It's the best they've got.
You know how aggy
What do you want me to do?
I get really upset when there's like a sample size of 2, 3, 4 rounds. I'm like, great, so they're all from the same game.
They've only played the map twice. It's difficult. I can't come in and say they've played 20 rounds on Hooker and Billiards, because they haven't. They've only played the map twice in stage 3.
It's just irrelevant. Just don't say it. Stop. You're giving me false hope.
Well, no, the relevance is in the fact that that's the best that I can pull out for them. That's the point on attack, is that I think Team Secret are going to have a struggle here against Rogue. The best that I can find for them is the fact they've won on Penthouse Theatre.
And the words of Twisted Sister is that your best won't do. We'll see if it will be the best. However, a little bit shaky about what that could mean in the future rounds. A slower start in this round as you maybe come to expect. Rogue not charging their way into the map, but definitely looking to be a little bit problematic out towards the doors. I think with them starting out on the more extended hold sort of side, as you can see here with the mirror, they want to hunker down, don't want to lose members too early, else the whole thing falls apart. So that should give a little bit of time and structure to Team Secret here to think about how they want to construct this attack. Where do they come from? What have they got to clear? Play with the full 3 minutes you've got. Coastline, I always say, one of those smaller maps there. Every single sidebar theatre has got an external facing door or window. It's not a huge map. You should be able to take your time a little bit more on this map than you might on, say, Villa, the map that we could have gone to in this series.
Gonfi's got himself established underneath on the Sunrise side, and I was going to question just how much work Rogue were doing underneath, and it's clear that it's not very much, as Sleben's able to walk in and find himself an opener onto Prano there, and what an opener to find, Des. Onto the smoke, 3 Toxic Babe canisters gone with him.
I think you're looking at it as more just about the wanting to extend horizontally rather than looking to try and play from below. Rip's almost being naded out, but will keep himself alive, at least for now. But I feel a little bit dicey inside of there. He's so focused on keeping this wall closed up, playing behind the shield. That was a very wonky grenade, Keenan. Okay, we'll let that one slide off to the 4K in the last round, but that could come back to cost you.
It could do. You've got to maximise your use of utility that's available to you. Now, Rips is looking to use those angles through into the kitchen. You got to remember, of course, they do work both ways, and if he gets the opportunity, but it looks like Keenan, for the time being, has just dipped himself away through into service bathroom. He'll probably look to maybe push up those theatre stairs now. Leon, under a little drone pressure, at least inside of sight. Kendrew sees the man, but as he peeks round the corner, Crying is waiting ready. Joe's open and Crunch is shut at the first opportunity, taking the ace down. That's Kendrew gone, and things levelled up for Rogue. 50 seconds left to go, and Team Secret, they're just looking a little bit lost for me, Des.
I mean, they started out strong with those nades from below, doing a bit of work, but since then they have stalled out for the last 60 seconds or so. I say that, Sleben starting off, or carrying on where he left off with another kill coming into the round. That's his second. Now Patbull's the one trying to push his way up onto 90. Needs to be careful not to get swung on here, but Leon finding one back. It's Keenan falling down, the 4K master from the previous round. Sat in the back has the mirror. You can see all these Rogue members moving down towards the south side of the map. No one wanted to get naded out here. So surely that's when they think about a rappel. Could be an option to get inside, but it's Crying off towards Aqua, finding another on towards Patbull. Sleben onto the 3K in the round. Is that what's going to come down to, Ace? Or are we going to need superheroes in this game? Can they find any more as we enter that final 5 seconds? Aces is down, Crying still standing, but no, it's Sleben with a 4K in the round as well. 2 big rounds coming out for Secret. But you got to look at that round and say, part of that was down to Rogue.
They didn't have the diffuser, Des. They didn't have the diffuser in hand. I don't know exactly where it was in terms of accessibility with only 8 seconds left to go, but It was down in Hall of Fame. So, okay, I'll
I got
go with
great
that.
news
I think
for you.
they could collect that and get it in there. And you'll remember, Des, you criticised, but I said Team Secret had 100% win rate on Penthouse Theatre, and that continues.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic.
Let's just hope that Rogue haven't offered them an olive branch there by letting them go to their best attacking site.
Maybe not. There's a call for a rehost coming in, which I imagine we'll get to in just a second. It's been a rough game for a couple of members on the side of Secret, mind you. Kendrew and Patbull, 1-14 between them both at the minute. I do feel kind of bad for Kendrew, because he's been swung by aces when he tried to step in and like slow walk his way through a quiet area of the map. Suddenly someone's got a long angle to him from across the field. It's ridiculous. And so in his spot, it has been a rough game. However, as we've already seen, Sleben, Keenan, even Gompy with his 3K in the earlier round, back in round 1, there is still some signs of life there, but it's a long way back to the top.
So we're going to be this time seeing Rogue defend Blue Bar and Sunrise, deciding to move themselves away from Penthouse Theatre. They're going to head down onto the bottom floor, and I think Rogue, one of the differences I want to see is just a little bit more attention to the floor they're not playing on, Des. We saw it last time. I tell you what, I was about a little bit of early attention to the noggin of Sleben.
I mean, that is just what feels like aces to a T. I remember back on Team Secret for like, when Leon was playing against Eminem, I think it was just run out heaven. And no doubt Leon's got some of that energy about him as well, wanted to try and get cheeky with this one. I tell you what, Rips could find himself caught inside of the bar here. They droned him out as he was still putting down the bulletproof, but these walls still need to be opened up, so Rips can creep his way back out towards Cool Vibes, keep himself safe. Well, they may fancy himself a couple of gunfights here, Ace. He might feel a bit cheeky and up to it against the side of Secret, pushing him from pool entrance.
Aces manages to find himself another on the round. It's going to be a Nitro on to Packbull, and Ace is starting to run rampant inside of this one. Gompy manages to shut Leon down with a headshot, leaving us now 4 versus 3, 4 versus 1 though, as Aces goes for a long run out, finds Keenan and Gompy, and leaves us now with it all to do for Kendrew. No. Manages to get his man who's being pinged out because he's still stood outside. I'm not sure I've ever seen anybody stay outside for as long as that, Aces, but it leaves Kendrew in a 1 versus 3, Des, facing what could be a match point round next time around if he can't clutch this out. He's got low health. There is very little he can do here.
I can't believe Aces is on 16 kills. It's absolutely
unreal.
ludicrous.
Honestly.
Jumping out a hookah window as well, like, God.
The improvement we've seen from Aces over this stage has been staggering.
I think his performance is so directly correlates so strongly to his motivation as a player. Like when things are a bit flat, they're not going so well, he's nowhere to be seen. We saw that after he had his breakout towards the back end of last year. And then you come into a stage where, you know, new team members come in, new play styles been developed. He's like, right, let me add him and see what I can do. Old Aces is starting to make his big return, and that is glorious. Kendrew is going to try and do what he can here, but he's got to kill 3. He's got 60 seconds in which to do it, and the diffuser still in hand, of course, let's not forget. All with about 10 HP to his name. Finds 1. Reminiscent maybe of the Nello clutch coming out here, and we saw it at the Token Army Major. Not to PL Finals even. Not quite to be the case, though. Does get shut down from inside a Blue Bar. And, well, Rogue find themselves on match point.
No surprise, really, given how the beginning of the game went. This point was always going to arrive. Team Secret, I think the best they could hope for, Des, was to get as close as possible before it did. As it is, they've only managed to get themselves 2 rounds back, and now Rogue have 4 opportunities, not only to close this out, but to secure themselves for the next year of EUL. And given their stage 2, given being dragged into this relegation fight, that's going to be massive for this team. And as I said, coming into those final 2 play days where Rogue are going to be fighting for those major spots as well, it could make them almost unbeatable because they're going to be playing pretty carefree at that point.
I think it's the big thing when you look back towards last year, and you know, I think Leon said it on, I want to say it was Twitter, he mentioned it. He said, you know, when they played the finals, they survived against Eminem, they stayed up in EUL. He was like, the 3 months of like grief and stress that has put on us has just been huge. Yep. Even though they were confident they would win and beat the team that lost, whether it was Kavana or whether it was Eminem, they still looked at it and said, that still gives you a lot on your mind that, oh God, I could be without a job in a few months. So for them, I think it was a real big relief point. And now they've been through that once, they don't want to go through that process again. They want to send someone else down there to experience what despair can feel like, and it's looking likely to be the team they're just about to hand a 7-2 defeat to here in Team Secret.
I mean, yeah, you know, that's about the only silver lining that Team Secret can be finding right now, is that they do have at least a commanding lead in that bottom two battle. You know, it's really theirs to lose at this point. Heroic are going to have to do something unbelievable to be able to bring it back, you know. So the likelihood is that challenge probably isn't going to come onto Team Secret's 9th spot.
The org name of Heroic is very well suited to the situation.
It's going to need to be.
It's going to have to be one hell of a, call it a super heroic effort if you want to go to that kind of level. But either way, it's going to have to be some magic coming out. Let's see how this round plays up, though. You've got a couple hanging out towards white down here. We saw a wonderful 2K C4 coming onto the white window in APAC yesterday. Team's a little bit overzealous, it felt like, at points, and well, got stung pretty hard on that one. But understandably, Aces, he wants a piece of the action. He wants to get himself in the fight. Drone at his feet, cleared out, and will surely now back away. There we go. Out towards Aqua. And towards the window, because why the hell not?
He's not going to back away. He's going to have a little peek and see if he can step out of that door and challenge onto the white stairs window instead.
Surely you see the
no
map.
doubt keep himself active. He does just catch a glimpse of him there, but Kendrew, they are difficult shots to find. Only a couple of pixels for a fraction of a second. He's going to slip away, but so is the life of Leon Gids as he gets taken out as that entry death this time. That's going to leave us 5 versus 4 for Team Secret. Now getting themselves inside of the map, being able to use these vertical angles. They want to get themselves into VIP, use that buck skeleton key, use the sledgehammer. They just really want to rip up this entire floor here and make the defenders very, very uncomfortable inside of sight.
So far not looking too bothered by it though, mind you. A lot of them have just pulled back, and oh my god, you've got the Iana still knocking down inside of Theatre, and they're pushing into it. What is this? Yeah, you're coming in for the swing. There's 2. One from the white stairs from Prano, one coming in from 9C. It's been an absolute shutout. Sleben finding 2 in the round, but unfortunately, the 3 versus 2 makes this look all the more unlikely. Worth mentioning, there have only been 2 entry kills in this entire game for Secret, both of them coming out of Sleben. Can he do enough to find the final 3 and keep Secret's hopes alive?
Sleben just taking shots from the main door there, just trying to do anything he can to, I think, get himself inside of the map to try and start getting something. It's actually Kendrew who was down at the front door, my apologies. Sleben's going to join him now on the lower level, and this is going to just have to become a direct route 1 push towards site here, Des. There's not much of a choice for the 2 of them. They just need to try and initially find a pick. There's 30 seconds left to go. They need a kill or 2 here.
They've got nades on side as well, don't forget. Those 2 are still in the back pocket. A 7 pulls one out now to toss it in, so they can make a little bit of space with them. And he comes on the push forward, I think, trying to remove away one of the bulletproofs that maybe was stacked upon the wall. Kendrew does find one. Not bad, but they've got to find the next. Looks at the one inside of blue as it bounces around the corner. What a shot coming out of Sleben. A 3K in the round. Prano left entirely alone. Pokeballs are coming out. Don't think that'll quite kill the man, but does put him low. You'll have Sleben playing on the door, coming up nice and close. Loses the one out there, but the plan's going to hit 0, or the time will hit 0, sorry. It goes down. Kenny can't win that fight. Rogue have secured the bag. They secure their spot in EUL for next year. A triple kill from Prano in the round. A dominant performance coming out of Rogue.
Prano with a great 1v2 there, managing to win his gunfights. It was well played from the beginning for Rogue and throughout, and what a performance they've just put down on Coastline. I don't think anybody's going to be rushing to take them again too soon back to that map. It's been great to watch. Aces particularly, what a performance.
Slowed down towards the end, but when a man's on 16 kills, you're not going to complain whether he's still going.
You got to spread them around a bit. You got to give a few to somebody else.
7